Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. The Arnold's 2024, the Arnold's Classic, has just concluded this past weekend. So we're going to chat about the results, how people looked, what we think. So should we start off with men's wheelchair?
Yes.
We're not starting off with it. To be fair, I mean, like, apologies if you are somebody from the men's wheelchair division. Yeah. Doesn't get enough credit, does it?
No.
Doesn't get enough exposure.
No.
So shout out to Rajesh John.
It's actually, Rajesh John, he's won that. Honestly, I've never seen you. If I'm being honest, I saw parts of the live stream, didn't see a single story or anything about it.
That's sad though, isn't it?
It is sad, yeah.
But it's not sad because it's like, it's pretty cool that they...
Yeah, it's wicked.
Can do it and want to do it, and it's something that you can get into after.
Yeah, we're gonna really only talk about the ones that we like. Firstly, not really care about, but the ones that
we don't know enough to go about bikini or wellness. Like we'll talk about men's physique, men's classic, and men's bodybuilding. We'll start off with men's physique.
Yeah, men's physique. I'm not too sure if you saw him.
I saw the guy
Corey Morris. Everyone really likes Corey Morris.
He didn't come fourth?
I don't know.
He came fifth.
Yeah, he came fifth. Now, Corey Morris, I think, is somebody who's got extreme potential, but he didn't listen to them about the shorts.
AJ Morris?
I'd say AJ's probably the best Morris that there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Corey, not AJ, Corey, didn't listen to the short regulation. So his shorts were the old school, like long shorts. Nowadays they want them to be a bit higher. And his legs are, very bad.
Are they?
Yeah, really bad. But if we're judging off men's physique musculature, I also have heard that there's a rumour that I think he puts synthol in his delts. It's quite noticeable.
Very good V-taper,
his taper's ridiculous. His back shot's a joke.
But
his delts are almost somewhat slightly overpowering. And he then doesn't have the midsection, in my opinion, in the way of because he's so tapered, he's not got the midsection of somebody like Banks, so Aaron Banks. So it's you almost look at him and he looks fantastic, but then when you assess points for his physique,
he only posts that.
Yeah,
I've not seen any other pose at the minute.
So
there's his back.
His delts, his back's a joke. People say they look at him and they think his back his delts potentially synthol. His legs are really small. He didn't listen to the regulation about shorts. He does the same style of posing every time, which, to be fair, a lot of them do. And I think a lot of people were disappointed he wasn't first call-out because he wasn't. They did a four-man call-out and he was the best of the second call-outs. Because if you were to look at him, you'd look at him and say he should be a first call-out at Arnold's. But he's not, and he doesn't get rewarded well. So it's a bit of a shame. Fourth, we had, if I get this up, we had Kyron. He's the guy that beat Ebanks last year. Looked good. Again, same sort of posing routine as always, doing that, if you can see. He does that, that dude. Yeah, looks really good. Again, men's physique, it's one of those where the guy that won, so Diogo, looks fantastic.
Vinicius. Vinicius Jr. came second. Didn't realise he was doing that.
So basically, Diogo, really good. I've liked his physique since he came onto the scene properly a few years ago.
I've only heard of him.
Really?
I'm looking through. I don't think I've heard of any of the other people. I don't really follow men's physique, obviously, because I've completed it.
Yeah.
So I don't need to follow it. But yeah, that Diogo is the only guy that I've actually heard of. And he looked pretty good. But I don't think he's...
You know Kyron? The guy that finished?
I probably recognise him, but I don't know the names.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't... That guy, the guy that won, I didn't look at him and go, oh, he's really good.
Yeah. No, he's just got a very, very good front shot. And he's probably, stylistically, he's not got those good abs as Ryan Terry. I mean, not many, no one really does. But he's probably the closest to Ryan Terry in the way he can stand front on. And I think they're probably judging that a bit more. His front shot is he's hips facing forward. He doesn't need to do a twist or whatever. So as a result of that, I think they're probably just looking at it and thinking, yeah, we'll reward him well. And to be fair, I think he's a really good men's physique guy. So yeah, credit goes to him. Moving on.
So classic. Do you know Kendall that came 10th?
No.
So I've followed Kendall for years now.
Okay.
Because he's natty.
I do know. Yes, I do know the natty dude. Yeah.
It's _Kendall.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
do
not
know who it is.
him.
Yeah, he finished 10th, mate.
Yeah, he finished
10th,
but he's very, very good.
Yeah.
He's got a really, really nice physique. I think he could have been leaner. But again, if he'd have been leaner, would he have just looked smaller and looked worse? You know what I mean? Because he looked good. He looked really full. He looked really round. He's got really nice shape. He's got a tiny waist, nice sweeping quads. He's really good. But it's mental. He's that good. He'd go to most natty shows and he'd be like, Jesus, he's very good. but he's still 10th there. Like, he's probably miles off as well. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely miles off getting close to the top 6, let's say. But still, he's representing the Natties.
Yeah.
So shout out to Kendall.
Yeah. So in order, Wesley Vizers won. We then had Ramon, who loves the 2nd place. Urs got 3rd. I thought Urs
looked poor, didn't he?
Really bad.
His tan didn't look great. He looked really flat.
Arms are so small.
Yeah,
like
stringy.
He's got like bikini girl arms and a front double bicep, and I say that he's probably got bigger arms than me. But like, actually, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. He doesn't look very big. He doesn't look very
bigger
good.
than everyone in your head.
Yeah, I'm bigger than
stronger than
Wesley.
JP. Bigger than everyone.
Yeah,
I am stronger than JP.
Yeah, I am stronger than JP. Of course I am. Yeah, Urs I didn't think it wasn't his best showing. It's a shame because I really like Urs. I think he's a
still
good
got
dude.
3rd. Like,
I thought
wouldn't surprise me.
Like,
yeah,
I thought he looked the worst out of the first call outs. He was the worst by.
It wouldn't surprise me if he'd have got like 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
That Michael de Bull's good. Remember we saw him at the Arnold's and his glutes were like absolutely peeled. Yeah.
His conditioning is fantastic, but I think like not even shape.
Came
like
4th. Aubryon came 4th.
I think his posing could be a bit better. This is for Michael, and I also think like I'm not gonna say he's just muscle. It's almost like it's just a case where I can't imagine him going and being like a top.
He looks more like a small bodybuilder than a classic guy, doesn't he?
I agree, and it's funny because he came from men's physique.
Yeah.
So he was originally a men's
but
physique.
I think that's
guy.
maybe because he gets so grainy. Like, it's almost like too lean.
I feel like if he was to be a little bit like, if they were just to put him on 5 pounds heavier and just fuller, like, I don't know who his coach is, but just take loads of Superdrol and just eat it for like a week and you'll probably do quite well. He'd probably be someone who I reckon, like, if he was to just do a show randomly a week after, he'd probably be like, wow, this is like really good.
For classic.
Because his glutes are the leanest on every single stage.
They don't need to be.
Yeah, they're not, like, you look at Ramon, his glutes aren't like shredded. I think that's
what people do forget, like, they think classic is like just smaller bodybuilding and you just need to be the biggest and the leanest but pose like a classic guy, and it's like it's a softer look. It's a fuller and it's a rounder and softer, like less harsh kind of look. Like you still want to be full obviously when you're bodybuilding, of course, but it's a sort of more I was saying this to Butcher's Wet Dream in his check-in. I was like, you're going to be very, very lean. It's like, but your glutes don't need to be like inside out. I was like, if anything, that'll take away from your look and your
because
shape.
you'll lose out, especially as a natty.
You'll
lose out
on tissue and on fullness.
Exactly. So top 3 we had, and to be fair, we'll say top 3. We've already spoke about Urs. I think we both probably agreeing that he was lucky to beat Brion, and I think he was probably the worst out of the first call out.
He just didn't look. It's only because you've seen him better.
Yeah, but Wesley and Ramondino, what's your opinion? You happy with Wesley? Everyone likes Wesley, I feel like.
Yeah, well, he's been about for ages, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like, we saw him at the Arnold's. We've seen him a few times. Like, I've seen him at the Olympia, and he always seems to like just not deliver or come in as good as he should. Obviously, he beat Jack Eagles just, but like he is good, and everyone's like, oh, he's the epitome of classic. He's good, but then you see people comparing him to Sebum, and it's like he's so far off. It's harsh, but it's the reality of it. It's like comparing in football, comparing anyone to Ronaldo or Messi.
They have a good season, and it's like Salah has a good season. It's like, he's up there with Messi this season.
Yeah, it's like he's not. It's just not the same. Like, it's fine. He's just not at that level, and nobody is really at Sebum's level at the minute, and that's fine. But he's good. But like now, he's obviously going to be in contention at the Olympia. Like,
there's not. I will be I would bet any money. Wesley is never going to beat Sebum.
No.
Unless Sebum comes in 30
he's
pounds.
In contention. If he hadn't have done this show, and you'd have said, and we'd have spoke about the Olympia, we'd have gone right top 3. We wouldn't have thought we'd have been.
No,
we wouldn't
Wesley's
have
put his name up there. Yeah,
we might have mentioned him in the top 5. We'd been like, oh, he might be, or top 10. Like, but he's. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes second now.
He's just delivered a really, really solid look. I actually think the sad reality is that if you were to go off actually classic criteria, Ramon, when they put them next to each other, I think you probably beat him in a lot of like shots relative.
I think it's because Ramon wasn't his best, and Wesley was his
so
best,
good.
so
and
like,
your eyes were drawn to Wesley with the amount of tissues he holds, because he is bigger than Ramon.
His waist's quite big though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. He just doesn't flow as well. I think if you were to go off classic physique, if that was their first 2 times ever on stage, I think Ramon would probably.
Yeah, they'd never heard of either of them, but it's because Ramon wasn't as good and
Wesley was really, really good. And I think that was like the most not controversial, but that was the most like hyped up. Yeah, it was a shock. It was a bit of an upset. I think a lot of people had Ramon and Urs as like 1 and 2. then it was like probably in that, like you had Brion.
It would have been Brion, then probably Wesley.
Then Wesley, that would have been most people's predictions. So to see Wesley
fourth to first from like predictions is quite big.
To go from 7th to Olympia to beat the guy who finished 2nd and then the guy who finished 3rd and like pretty much smoke hers, it's like that's really cool. Yeah. So yeah, good guy Wesley. We all like Wesley. Everyone likes Wesley. Congratulations, Wesley.
On to bodybuilding. So should we start? We'll start at the bottom. Yeah, so we'll start in 10th. It was that Mohammed guy, Mohammed Shaban.
Yeah.
He looked good, but he's not. Obviously, he's not going to be up there with Hadi or James.
Horse.
James. Yeah, mate, your call of Horse MD.
He looked so bad.
Yeah, he was
looked awful. He looked like a water balloon. He looked like he looked soft, watery, and not even that full.
I think the thing is, what happens with people, like obviously they get like a bit of a hype.
Well, his last showing, he looked really good.
Yeah, but also like, you can look really good, but then you stand against like Samson and Hadi, and it's like Jesus. It's like what was his name? The guy
he stood next to Samson before, and he got 3rd, I think, in the show, or 3rd or 4th in the show that Samson did, and he stood next to him.
What's
and
the guy's name that? He's bald. I can't remember his name. He came from the other Fed. He came from
Mr. England.
No, he didn't come from that. Yeah. He came from another Fed. I can't. You know it. You'd recognise him.
Oh, not Drew Walker. 212 dude.
No. He came from a different Fed, not from a different class. He was bald. He competes now, and they were on about him against the guy with the massive neck.
Stanimal.
No, he competes now, not like years ago.
Stanimal competes now.
Does he?
Yeah, he literally.
Oh, didn't we see him in the gym?
Yeah, we saw him in the gym.
Yeah,
and
not him.
Didn't look like a pro bodybuilder.
Yeah, not him.
No, he did look pretty.
He's like a top 10 guy now. Like he did the Olympia. Like I can't remember his name. You'd recognise him. People will know who I'm on about. Comment below. He's a bald guy, and he's massive.
Crizzo.
So Crizzo, for example, everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna come in. He's gonna fucking boss it." And it's like he come like 8th or something, and it's like
still good.
He's big,
best in the world.
But you put him next to Derek, Hadi, like the top guys, and it's like miles off. The difference between like the top 3 to 5 and then the next block is massive in it.
Yeah,
like we were saying, like James is amazing, but he was never going to be in the top 3 in that show, or he was never going to challenge Hadi at all.
No,
it's like he's way better. Yeah, you just look at the ones that are the best by a mile. Like
it'd be like I remember there was an Olympia where I think they made Phil do 1 round of comparisons, and it was 2013. They were like, Phil, back in line, because it was like they did 1 round of comparisons, and they were like, he's won, he's sound. Like everyone's now fighting for second, you know.
That's what happened with Josh a couple of times this year. Basically, Phil Heath.
Yeah. So Horse MD, probably the flop that I think some people imagined. Back's really poor, came in pretty soft, not the best. Number 8
was Justin Rodriguez, who I feel like he's always in that 5th to 10th kind of range.
He's a bit
which I guess is kind of similar for a lot of these guys. Like they're all just on the sort of cusp of that top like realm.
Yeah.
But they're not quite there. Like I feel like the top guys at the minute, you've got Hadi, Samson. I'd put Nick in there.
Yeah.
Derek, of course, yeah. Who else?
Next Zilla, bro.
What's his name?
Mate, you're
Labrada,
yeah.
Mate, my head's gone. It's because I was battered from training legs. Yeah. So we had then Justin Rodriguez in 8th, Antoine in 7th.
Seen Antoine in person?
Have you?
When I was in Pure Muscle and Fitness, yeah.
Quite a small dude. Trains there,
in person. That's really good. Yeah. Quite a small dude. Like he's not.
Mate, you think everyone's small?
No, he's not a massive dude. You're
quite bigger than everyone.
He's structurally he's a wicked bodybuilder. He looks wicked. Posing routine. You see the posing routine?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Demonstrates his physique well. Yeah. No
6th with Akeem, wasn't it? And he was like way better at the finals. He got like in a top 4 call out, didn't he?
Yeah, pretty sure so. Yeah.
So I think because it says in judging he got a score of 35.
Yeah, then finals,
which
20.
means he'd have been 7th.
Yeah,
and then finals he got bumped up to 4th, so he ended up in 6th. And then James in 5th, which I think is a good result for James.
Yeah, I thought
James could have easily been like in that 8th, 9th, like, out of that.
And I think James just from like a fullness standpoint, he was grainy. It's one of those. I think the stage photos did him like. No, I'm not saying didn't a disservice, but he just didn't look as crisp as what I kind of expected. But then also he was really full, but like. I don't know. He just looked like he was almost like holding like a bit of like layer of water. Probably trained too fucking hard with Branch Warren like 3 days out. He didn't manage his fatigue well.
Like, he's very, very good, obviously.
Yeah, he is.
But again, like the standard is a joke. Like we were chatting about it in Be Modified, weren't we? And we were like, is he going to ever like get to that point?
Yeah.
And probably not.
No.
And if he's all right with that, sound like that's fine. But if he's not, like, it's a harsh reality of being like, genetically, he's not anywhere near as good as someone like Derek, for example. Like his lat insertions, his shape, his height, like. Yeah. Derek and Hardy, like, they're so much better than everyone else at the minute, in my opinion, because their shape is a joke. Like, because they're short. Yeah. They're short and they just look like an X. They literally have, like, a perfect frame. Even Samson doesn't look as good against him, even though he's huge and shredded. Like, he just doesn't look as good because he's not as symmetrical. Like, you could have the biggest legs in the world, but if you're 6 foot, you're not going to look like an X. If you're 5'4", you're going to look like an X, like, and it just looks ridiculous. Yeah,
I agree. So.
Fourth was... Jonathan De La Rosa, which, to be fair, is a pretty good result for him to beat James and sort of just be behind the top 3. Rafael Brandao in 3rd.
Really, did you see the improvements he's made? The improvements he's made since his last showing was a joke. Like, his coach was saying he was 15 pounds heavier. And I always find it funny because you see people say, "Is this amount heavy?" He actually
you always think that.
Yeah,
it's like
they looked the same or they're fat, and he looked like probably maybe not 15 pounds of muscle, but he looked like 10 pounds heavier and sharper.
People were saying he was pushing Samson in the
I honestly think, like, from an aesthetic standpoint, like, his quads are really wide. He's got a real small waist.
Posing's nice.
Yeah, his posing's good. His posing was a lot improved from his recent show or his previous showings. I think he's like one of those sort of dudes that everyone's just like, he's
I remember watching. I think it was like 2 years ago I think it was Alicante, and he beat James. Yeah. Or it was another show, but I'm sure he competed against James, and he beat James, or they were there together, and maybe James beat him, I can't remember. But I remember then I was like, he's going to be pretty good. Like, he looked really good then, but he was just a bit smaller. He
won his pro card at like 21, and he's only like 29.
Did he win it in Classic?
I don't know. I know he's been like a pro for like 8 years. He's been in the circuit, but he's like 29. People think of him like he's been in it for like, you hear Rafael Brandao and you're like, oh yeah, he's one
been
of the
about
old,
for a while,
But it's like, no, he won it at a young age, and he's actually like still in the game, and he's getting better and better, which is cool. And then top 2, I think, can we be honest, and like we've said this, okay, Samson's from the UK, like, good guy Samson, we like Samson, everyone likes Samson, he's a good dude, but Hadi was
miles off.
Hadi was so much better than him. Like, I watched. It wasn't close, was it? Did you watch the, like, when they first did the comparisons and Fuad was on the commentary?
I'm not seeing
it was embarrassing, like, because
some
of the
saying,
comments.
Like...
Fuad was like, "I think he does him on the side chest," and the guy was like, "I don't think so." Yeah. And then he was like, "I think so." And then they turned to the race like, "Oh yeah, look at Samson's hamstring." He's like, "Yeah, look at Hadi's." Like, it was like he was only picking out Samson.
Yeah, because he knows him and his mates with him.
He sponsors him. He's his athlete. But I just look at it and I was like, why are they going through this? Like, Samson is like very, very good.
Yeah, he's good, but he's not.
He's not got at all.
This is the thing about the level. Like, we always say about bodybuilding. Like, it is just who turns up. Like, Samson is ridiculous, but
and he's making ridiculous progress.
Imagine if Hadi hadn't have turned up. Yeah, he'd have won that. It'd have been relatively close with Rafael, but it'd have been like, Samson's won, and it'd have been, oh my god, Samson's won the Arnold's amazing.
2 years on the trot.
Yeah, he's incredible. Like, but Hadi turned up.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally all it is. It's
and
just,
I think
if someone better turns up,
I thought Hadi was better there than he was at the Olympia.
Oh mate,
I thought his quads
really,
were
really good.
Like,
I think he'd have probably won the Olympia.
I reckon so. To be fair though, I think he probably could have won the Olympia like already.
I don't think
from the rear, but I think from the front he was better. Like, than Derek.
I really like Derek's physique. I think he's a joke.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, that's our Arnold summary. I think there wasn't really any decisions that I disagreed with. I think on another day, Ramon, if it was like we said, if Ramon was like never been seen before, I think he could have beat Wesley. But
and I think Brion probably could have been.
Yeah, Brion could have been third. Probably just got that off.
And maybe Rafael pushing Samson.
Yeah, but I think the actual winner of Open makes complete sense. And then likewise, I think the winner. I think there wasn't really any bad calls. I think all the calls like made complete sense. It was good to see. Standards good, and obviously we have the UK Arnold's, which we will be there in less than 2 weeks. So we'll do a post Arnold's analysis. We could actually, on the drive to the Manchester United Liverpool game, we could do like in the car. Yeah, we could potentially get the mics or whatever. We'll just like do a little bit of a catch up there. That could be quite a good episode.
We could do an Instagram live and just chat about it.
Yeah, potentially.
And then do an actual pod.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Loads of content coming out, guys. If you enjoyed this, please drop us a subscription. We are on, is it 630? 627. Please, get us to 700. Then we can get to 1,000. And yeah, we're going to be doing more of these throughout the year. So if you have enjoyed, click subscribe, click like. Our Instagrams, ReeseFit, FinnKellyCoach or FinnKelly_coach. All the details are in the description. Yeah, we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.